Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As some of you guys may know, a few months ago, I had the pleasure to introduce you guys to two phenomenal fragrances from a promising new brand called Katana Parfums. I had the privilege of reviewing their enchanting Khan and their alluring, smoldering, sexy Cuir Vicuña. But today we're going to have a very fun and exciting video which we're going to go over 4 of the new releases with new bottle designs, which by the way, they just look incredible, out of this world. And as always, make sure you follow me on my Instagram because sometimes I'm going to have free giveaways and I have usually very fun facts about fragrances and of course the most beautiful pictures of fragrances that you can find on the entire Instagram. All right, so this is the bottle, as I promised. The first one we're going to talk about is going to be Hikaya, which means story in Arabic. And as you guys can see, the whole detail of the cap with the Arabic writing all over it in gold color, and the name of the company, Katana Parfums, in the front of the cap and on the plate. And on the back of it, you guys see that infamous sword. Yeah, the bottle is just incredible. Very beautiful. God, I love smelling these because I already tested them so many times. And I have to say, trying out or owning Khan and Cuir Vicuña, right away I knew that this house is right up my alley. I just fell in love with this house and the way they make their fragrances. And once I found out that they are releasing this new collection, I was very excited to find out how it's going to be approached. And once I got them, I was blown away by the fact that they're so different and they have all new DNAs, which makes it very refreshing. And that's what I love about these kind of fragrance houses, that they try to do things outside the box and not follow other companies. And I find them very exciting and fun. And that's exactly what you get with this collection, just something extremely new to the DNA pool. Hikaya is an Arabic name, which means story, by the way. And Mr. Alp Belugulari, I hope I'm not butchering his name, the owner of Katana Parfums, decided to work on an Oriental-driven collection. Now, this one, I don't know if you guys saw it or not when I brought the bottle up front because it's so bright, but the juice is kind of dark green. And it kind of starts off that way as well. It starts off with a sweet green gourmet herbaceous tea-like kind of a note, accompanied with white florals. Now, bear with me because that's how it does on paper. But when I sprayed it on my skin, it was a different story. It actually started off with tuberose, but it's not your typical old school tuberose that you would think. It started off with this sweet, herbaceous green tuberose, which was the mixture of tuberose and the tea, which just made it so beautiful. Now, these white florals that are dancing around this gourmet sweet tea kind of a note on the opening, as I mentioned earlier, as you're enjoying that, you get hit with this very unusual smell, which is this synthetic Indonesian oud, which has this unique damp wood or old wood kind of a smell, which is animalic and kind of reminds me of Bois Marocain smell, but definitely sweeter than Bois Marocain because of some of the gourmet oils that are used in this fragrance to add to the sweetness and gourmandness of Hikaya. Now, I have to say that to some, this can be very off-putting when they smell it first, because they're like, this is so beautiful. I smell the tuberose, and some might say smell the tea, and it's just so sweet, so delicious. And then you're like, bam, you get hit with this synthetic Indonesian oud, and then you're like, God, what is this? Not that you're going to notice it's Indonesian oud, but you're going to get hit with this animalic note, which smells kind of like a damp wood or old wood kind of a smell, which is kind of off-putting. And you're going to be like, I don't know about this, but I'm telling you, you got to give it some time, because when you spray it on your skin and it settles on your skin and it kind of starts to open up more, it just becomes so sexy and gorgeous. So you just have to bear with me. And I have to say, this one probably has the most prettiest dry down out of the whole entire collection, but the opening is a little bit rough that you have to give it some time. So to recap the opening, again, you're welcomed with this sweet green herbaceous accord, which opens up to white floral notes, which is definitely the combo of white flowers and black tea oil that are creating this sweet green floral effect in the opening, which gets greeted by this animalic damp old wood kind of a smell from this synthetic Indonesian oud. Yeah, this is definitely very beautiful. And I also have the dry down of Hikaya here from yesterday. So as you guys can see, I test them out many times on paper. I let them dry down for a few days. This one's from yesterday. I tested before as well. I tested them on my skin just to learn the life cycle of the fragrance and know how they evolve as they get to the dry down. And I also talked to the perfumer as well, which they kind of get overwhelmed sometimes. They're like, Jesus, just tell them how it smells like. And I'm like, no, I got to give them the right, correct information, how you made it. I want to provide the right data to my viewers. So it gets sometimes overwhelming for them as well. But anyways, as we delve deeper into the fragrance, we are embraced by the exquisite essence of tuberose oil, meticulously crafted to capture its truest form. The tuberose gracefully claims the spotlight, while the surrounding white florals gracefully twirl around it like delicate dancers, enhancing the overall composition. Now, this tuberose oil has an intense white floral, carnal, sweet, and indolic fragrance note with green nuances, which complements the black tea really well. I also should mention that there's this freshness to the scent, which makes it very unique as well. But this freshness comes with an old damp wood smell, which gives this scent a very unique woody touch. And I think it's that damp woodiness that makes this fragrance. I think if that damp animalic, synthetic Indonesian oud wouldn't be here, this would be just another boring tuberose and tea kind of a scent, which a lot of fragrance companies, they make it. But I think what it makes this very unique and stands out of bunch is that damp woodiness to it, which kind of gives it that exotic, opulent aura to the scent. Now, of course, all these notes are backed up by this luxurious amber cord, which rounds out all the hard edges of this scent and brings them together. Hikaya is definitely a beautiful story, as the name suggests, and it takes you to different places, or I should say exotic locations, specifically because of the Japanese black tea oil. Alright, so next is one of the ones that I ended up liking a lot, which is Zahrafa, which means puzzle in Arabic, and that's because it has different facets to it. This one is truly a complex, multifaceted scent, and it is delicious, you guys. This is more of a floral, gourmet, fruity with some really exotic and delicious notes in it, but in a very heavy, serious, sophisticated, oriental type of a way. All right, there is Zahrafa. Again, the bottle, just exquisite. All the details, beautiful. Yeah, Zahrafa is one of my favorite ones. It has one of the most beautiful opening, you guys. This thing is very sexy and it has a dual personality. So initially when I sprayed it back there, it kind of smells like brownies. But when you bring it close, it's a different story. Up close, you get the most beautiful, realistic almond cherry kind of a chord from this, which is just to die for. It's just done so well, so high quality. It has such a depth to it, so organic smelling, so realistic smelling, very beautiful. So Zahrafa opens up with this sweet, indolic, delicious white floral, cherries and almond notes. So it is definitely a gourmand fragrance, and it is so rich and high quality, as I mentioned a million times. One of the best cherry fragrances that I have ever smelled. Again, I keep repeating myself. The combination of cherries and almond create this sweet yet bitter kind of effect, which is very nutty and green at the same time. So even though you get that cherry and almond right away, which has a huge nutty chord, but you can definitely smell the sweet white floral, opulent indolic green facet mingling with cherries and almonds in the opening as well. So this fragrance is the perfect example how a perfumer can masterfully bring floral, gourmet, and fruity nuances as one delicious gourmand accord seamlessly. As we get to the heart of the scent, the cherry note and almond calm down, and the strong Colombian coffee starts coming forward, where white indolic sweet florals like jasmine and lily of the valley are mingling with the Colombian coffee very nicely. You also get this warm, spicy, and woody facets in the scent as well, which counterpoints the delicious gourmandness of Zahrafa. God, this smells like a Middle Eastern delicacy. It's just so delicious, you guys. And I do have the dry down of Zahrafa over here as well for reference when it dries down. And when I'm comparing it, on the dry down, the fragrance becomes actually sweeter, and you get this delicious smell of brownies and chocolate mingling with Colombian coffee, which is to die for. At this point, the nuttiness and the cherry note is completely gone, and you're left with this sweet chocolate brownie and white floral notes. Alright, so all in all, what you get with Zahrafa, it is a gourmet fruity type of a scent with major bold notes of cherries and almond on the opening, which makes the fragrance nutty, sweet, and bitter at the same time. Also, you get a big dose of white flowers as well. It is a sweet fragrance, as I mentioned earlier. It is warm, spicy, woody, chocolatey, and it has this brownie-like nuances, and of course, it has a big dose of Colombian coffee. Alright, so next we got Hayal, which became one of the best sellers of this collection. Hayal, which means dream in Arabic, is another delicious, unique gourmand fragrance which has a very unique DNA to it, but it's not as gourmand as Zahrafa. Hayal is almost like a fight between gourmand and the high quality of jasmine, amber, and tonka bean. This one truly took me by surprise when I initially smelled it for the first time. I was blown away by the quality of jasmine and also how he achieved this completely interesting basmati rice note just by using these notes without usage of synthetic rice note. Alright, this is Hayal. This is the bottle. And as you can see, the juice looks like almost the color of saffron. God, this is insane. I don't know how he achieved this. It's just so realistic and so delicious at the same time. Unbelievable. Alright, so Hayal opens up right away with this beautiful, realistic, delicious of cooked jasmine basmati rice, which smells beautiful and out of this world. Again, here you definitely get a big dose of white florals on the opening, but there exists an intriguing warmth reminiscent of freshly prepared basmati rice. Yeah, this is insane how realistic this thing smells like, and it's so delicious and it truly works. I mean, imagine the fragrant steam wafting from a just cooked pot of rice, infused with the delicate essence of a layer of jasmine delicately placed on top. The scent dances in the air simultaneously, gentle and elusive, captivating the senses with its intriguing and delightful presence. Now, all this basmati rice stock will make you think that this is a warm type of a scent, and it is only good for cooler temperatures. But interestingly, it has a freshness to it. It feels kind of clean besides its gourmand and cozy qualities. The fact that you get white florals accord in here is one thing, but you also can definitely smell that very high quality jasmine oil in here, which is something that makes the scent very beautiful and opulent as well. There's also this greenness on the opening, which feels like a green white flower note with sweet jasmine-like nuances, which must be lily of the valley at play. Yeah, as the fragrance is opening up more, we're in the heart of it right now, and I do have to dry it on again as well. And what I notice when it gets to the heart, you can realize that it has a big vanilla in it as well, which adds to the gourmandness of the fragrance. But you can also smell that gorgeous big amber body in the background too, which supports the whole entire composition. And I believe that the rice accord happened by using tonka bean, which is coumarin, in certain ratio with vanilla and amber mixed with high quality jasmine oil that creates that very unique basmati rice accord. So Hayal is rather a linear type of a fragrance, although as it gets to the dry down, it loses that strong jasmine note and also the greenness of lily of the valley, which accentuate that basmati rice smell, and it becomes more of a vanillic, soft rice, sweet gourmand type of a scent. Alright, so all in all, what you get with Hayal, it is a gourmand type of fragrance that falls under amber floral category, which is a fight between gourmand and high quality jasmine, amber, and tonka bean. It is a white floral, cooked basmati rice, vanillic, amber, and sweet type of a scent. At last, we have Qatar, which on the bottle says Je vois encore Qatar dans des yeux, which means I still see Qatar in your eyes, is a story of Baudouin and his daughter in Yemen, which he finds her daughter after a long separation. All right, so this is the bottle, Qatar, just beautiful. Qatar. All right, so this one is a love for me. If you guys look up the notes, you'll know why. It definitely reminds me of Cuir Vicuña. It definitely has the characteristics of Cuir Vicuña, but it's not as animalic and as strong and opulent as Cuir Vicuña. It's more supple, it's softer, more sensual, and I really love it for that. Very beautiful, very sophisticated, but yet there's a raw, primal aura about it, but in a very soft way that I really like. All right, so Qatar is a floral, woody, leathery incense perfume, but interestingly, it is not a strong leather scent. It is very graceful and has a softness to it, which would be a great incense leather scent for someone that wants to get into raw primal leather fragrances. Qatar opens up with a sweet and fresh side, specifically the combination of bergamot and mandarin create that zesty, sweet, fresh opening, but it does open up with this primal raw leather note, which smells like saddle horse, very interesting and addictive. So it opens up citrusy and leathery, and it is definitely a very woody fragrance because of the major leather notes. Something interesting that I found about Qatar, talking to the perfumer of Katana Parfums, was that he discovered this unique leather note while working with balsam and sandalwood mixture. The myrrh also brings a warm and heavy side, and then of course he added the same kind of leather that he used in Cuir Vicuña. Yeah, Qatar is definitely an addictive type of a scent. I just cannot stop smelling this. It's that addictive. There's just something about it. It makes me keep going back for more. It's just unbelievable. And as the fragrance opens up more, there's this very beautiful smell of tobacco lurking around the leather note, if you will, which makes the leather very exotic. And of course, the reason why this fragrance becomes incensey or smoky as well is because of oud and frankincense. We got oud from Laos in here mixed with incense, which create this strong woody and smoky body to the scent as well. As we get to the heart of Qatar, it reveals its beautiful floral side, which is rose. Even though rose is in its top note, I smelled more as the fragrance opens up. But again, it's not a very strong rose note, rather extremely soft and faint. The fragrance is definitely powdery and balsamic with hints of faint white florals as we get deeper into the scent. Yeah, I also have the dry down here. And what a difference, wow. The dry down reveals so many notes that you don't really smell in the opening or the heart of the scent. And now this one is in the heart, and I can definitely smell this really interesting pencil shaving kind of a smell, which is very addictive. But the dry down, so interesting. So as we get to the dry down, interestingly, Qatar becomes calmer and it reveals this very unique, sweet, milky, powdery, and woody side to it, which must be sandalwood at play. I think also the jasmine, patchouli, and rose definitely soften up the dry down as well and make it very sensual type of a scent. So now it makes sense why he used Laos oud. And I want you to know the reason why he used Laos oud. The usage of Laos oud is because of its unique characteristics. You see, Laos oud has rich, woody, and smoky fragrance that is warm, earthy, and slightly sweet with notes of resin, musk, and spice. So that's why you definitely get some resinous, smoky earthiness with Qatar, but yet soft and sweet at the same time. Alright, so all in all, what you get with Qatar, it is a citrusy, sweet, leathery, resinous, smoky, and woody fragrance with a beautiful amber body to it that is warm, spicy, powdery, with hints of tobacco, oud, and rose at play. Alright, you guys, so that's all I have for the new Oriental collection by Katana Parfums. I must say I'm very impressed and I'm so glad that I was able to review this as soon as possible on YouTube channel for you guys. And I have to say that you guys definitely should check all of them out because you're going to miss out. I mean, Hayal is already one of the best sellers from this house on Lucky Scent. So, and I don't think that this one will be the only one. I think Zahrafa will also become a hit fragrance as well because of that beautiful cherry, almond, coffee, chocolate, brownie kind of a chord in there. It's just to die for. Very delicious. And also for people that are not into leather fragrances and they want to kind of get to know some raw primal leather fragrances, I would say Qatar is just another beauty to try out. And also, at last, we have Hikaya, which that one just has one of the best dry downs in the whole entire collection, even though it does have a off-putting, Indonesian oud, synthetic Indonesian oud in the opening, which you can smell that has an animalic vibe to it. But if you let it settle on your skin, it just becomes a very beautiful scent and becomes very addictive as well. And that's it, you guys. That's all I have. I would definitely suggest you to check these out. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye.